suffering from this crisis. There must be a significant package of relief assistance for those persons. And I can give you some examples. The van drivers that they're talking about, you know, they have to reduce their numbers, they have to do things to keep their vans sanitized and so forth. They're providing a public service. You don't want them to feel that they have to push the envelope or disregard what they know is better for them and for their customers, because it's putting too much an economic strain on them. So they have to provide some assistance to help them. Hotel workers in the hospitality industry, you know, the restaurants, some of them are closing. Taxi drivers, tour operators who are now making $1, this is the time of year to make some money. The tourism sector is flat. Craft vendors, market vendors, street vendors, they need assistance too. The cruise ship workers, many of them they have been working since February last year, some of them. Because of this crisis. And so they have to be factored into any relief package that is presented by government, by the Minister of Finance, in the budget coming. And it's not just the workers, the operators, the hotel owners, the guest house owners. Some of them, they have mortgages to pay, they have rent to pay. How are they managing? Is anybody asking them, discussing with them how government can assist in providing some relief? If you don't have cash, then there's some other things that can be done to ease their burden until this crisis passes. So, for those persons, the guest house operators, hotel operators, restaurant operators, they need income support or some other direct, indirect support that will help them to survive, at least to pay some workers and to stay operating, so that they're around when this crisis is over, which we hope will be in the not too distant future. Many businesses are closing, and some of them are closing for good. They're not just shut up for the season. They're done. Because they can't make it. In summary, the government is failing to manage the COVID-19 crisis and failing to keep the people informed about the state of the pandemic in St Vincent and the Grenadines. There is too much political calculation in what is said and done by public officials for public consumption. The professionals in the Ministry of Health must be guided by science and experience, not by politics. It must always be what makes the people safe and what makes them feel safe. Not what makes government look good or some good. So I say to the health department officials, give the proper scientific advice honestly and fully. That is your role. Then it is up to the political leaders to make the decisions based on the information that is provided. Also provide that information in a timely and complete way to the public. There is a trust gap now between the government and the people as far as the management of the COVID crisis goes. This is dangerous and it can cost lives. The people must be able to trust the information that they receive, to know that they have a proper understanding, a good picture as to what is actually happening in the country. The message must be conveyed clearly and consistently that we are not yet out of this crisis, that we cannot yet return to normal. It is a false choice to say we must choose between health on the one hand and the economy on the other. They are inextricably bound up together. They are tied together. The economy can't function properly if people are getting infected or fear becoming infected. For this will reduce public confidence. In going about your business in a normal way, and the economy will suffer. So the only way to protect the economy is to bring the spread of the virus under control and to show our people that the government is managing it properly. The evidence in the last 2 weeks or so show that the government is failing to do that. And it's doing so at a time when the situation is more grave and more urgent than ever. Now, regarding what is happening more recently, we have heard that a vaccine is being distributed and administered in many countries abroad. I'm told that the government here and in other Caribbean countries, there are allocations for vaccine. What we need to know from the government is now that many countries have started the vaccination, some people have got their second shot. There must be a policy that states how we would deal with persons who have had the vaccination. Get ahead of it. Say what we intend to do, how we want to manage those persons. And then secondly, when and how will the vaccine be made available here in St Vincent and the Grenadines to those persons who will take it? Those are two critical questions that need to be answered as well. Now finally, I want to say briefly, to express my continuing concern regarding the situation at La Soufriere, the eruption, let's put it bluntly, of La Soufriere. I will say more about this at some other time, but for now, I urge the authorities to communicate in a transparent and complete manner so that the people will trust and heed the information and instructions given. It's critically important because the response time for this problem might be short and urgent, and people have to make decisions based on the information received from the authorities. That trust and confidence must be there. They mustn't go on Facebook, on WhatsApp, or some of the social media and find that information which may be conflicted. They must say, I have a source that I need to go to find out what is happening and follow that. This tendency to want to rely on social media by the public officials to convey critical information to people is not entirely satisfactory. It's not satisfactory at all. That source of information is necessary, but it must be followed up with more direct communication with people, face to face, where it's possible. Having a hotline so that people can call and get reassuring information. My colleagues and I visited Oya and Sandy Bay. I believe it was on the 30th of December. And we spoke with some of the villagers there about their fears, and people were scared. You know, because the thing had just started rumbling, or at least they had just become aware of it and were smelling sulfur. And my intention for being there was to reassure them again and say, listen, we have your back. When there is a problem, the authorities will inform you there's a plan in place. Give them that reassurance. It is now for the authorities to build upon that trust that I know that many of the people have in me and in the members of who have been candidates in that area. Chevron John, Chief Neptune, and so we had a good discussion with people, and in general, they were scared. They took very seriously the advice that they must heed what the authorities say. Take this matter seriously, very seriously, and be prepared to move when urged to do so. And that will be in place. It's now for Nemo and the other officials to give that assurance again and to continue to do so as to allay the fears of the community and to build that trust. My colleagues and I also met with officials from Nemo to get a sense from them what they had in place, what was happening with the volcano, but also what was in place to respond in the event that there is an explosive eruption. And I gave the assurance that we will play our part to do whatever is necessary to keep people safe and to also overcome this crisis. And we urge them to continue to respond in kind to us, because I am the leader of the opposition. The New Democratic Party is the party of the majority in the country. We cannot be sidelined or in any way treated as an afterthought. We certainly will ensure that that doesn't happen as we represent people. NEMA must also make sure that it has the necessary drills and to practice them in the communities to prepare for evacuation, not just have them on paper. We must hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That is to say, prepare for evacuation. And the COVID-19 crisis escalating, and as bad as it is now, it shouldn't deter the officials, turn their eye away from the seriousness of the threat that is going on with the volcano. I hope that this too will pass without serious disruption, without certainly loss of property and land. But we must be prepared. Hope is not a strategy. We must prepare to deal with it.